determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and by Proforma, Elite Texas Graphics, live Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
The final round of a championship that it feels like has progressed so quickly towards the end of 2019. Welcome to the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series for the round 9 finale at the Daytona International Speedway. We visited this circuit the past few seasons here to not only close out the series, but we've had a few 90-minute endurance rounds, and that will continue yet again today from Florida. It's going to be a 2 pit stop minimum race, so expect that for the drivers this afternoon. We're currently in qualifying for the moment, but as usual, it's myself, Jonathan Simon, in the commentary booth, Tyler Maxson alongside me. And Tyler, here is the road course of Daytona, which has host events such as the Daytona 24 earlier on in each year. Today it hosts the Sports Car Series, where a championship can be wrapped up.
Yes, a championship will be wrapped up, and champions will be crowned today. The ST Championship is still all to play for between Robert Hartley and Mike Dam, and we're going to see guys really go at it this night. Here tonight from the Daytona road course. We have pretty hot temperatures out there right now, though. 25 degrees Celsius in the air, and that's going to prove to be a very difficult dynamic to deal with, because with this new tire model that we have in the MX-5 that we'll kind of get into a bit later, they heat up a little bit more, and that can cause a little bit of issues for some of the drivers that don't have the setup perfectly tuned.
Yep, and that Mazda MX-5 moving towards the new V7 tire model that iRacing has to offer, and that's going to produce different challenges, of course, around this Daytona track. But for now, we'll give you a rundown of this illustrious circuit with today's track guide.
Welcome, viewers, to Daytona International Speedway. Here to do the track guide lap for you in the Mustang FR500 at this 3.56-mile road course here at Daytona. As we approach the flag stand, drivers will be coming down into turn 1 here off of the NASCAR portion of the course at approximately 150 miles an hour, down through the gears, hard on the brakes, getting down into second gear, catching that apex at the bottom of the corner, getting a good launch up into turn 2 here. Drivers will next be approaching turn 3, International Horseshoe. This is another very slow, tight apex. Got to get that car to rotate, late apex on entry, get a nice wide exit up through the gears, get that speed to head down to turn 4. Short shoot here is pretty fast through turn 4. Drivers will probably keep that pedal to the floor coming around here, and also looking for some overtaking opportunity down into West Horseshoe. Another late apex corner down into second gear. Let that car rotate. Make sure you get it down to the bottom on exit so you can get a nice fast launch up into one of the most critical turns on the track in my mind, turn 6. Down into second gear, you can see that it's an off camber at apex and exit. Got to be very careful with that throttle, but you do want to get that speed up for the high bankings. One of the unique things about Daytona that makes it so different from other road courses around the world is the high-speed banks and long straightaways. Massive slipstream, a lot of drafting here, gives drivers an opportunity to get back to the guy in front of them via that draft. So we will see a lot of competitive racing here at Daytona. Coming down to what's known as the bus stop, very intricate entry, blind entry down into third gear, looking for that left-hander, the right-hander, trying to get through here nice and straight and smooth, back up onto the banking. That's a critical turn that can dictate how your race ends. A lot of passes take place at the end of a race coming through NASCAR 3 and 4 banking here. Drivers will sometimes sit behind the guy in front of them looking for that draft opportunity to slipstream him at the finish line and take away the win. It happens here quite often at Daytona. Well, there's your track guide through this 3.56 mile road course at Daytona International Speedway. Thank you for watching.
Hope you enjoy the track guide, and we hope you enjoy a championship challenge that's about to commence here at Daytona as we look at our standings heading into this final round. And we begin with our GS Pro class, which was wrapped up last round, Tyler. It feels like ages ago, wasn't it, for last round? But Aero Nom has swept the season so far. 8 wins out of 8. Today, so far, he's qualified last, I think deliberately, but we know based on his practice times, he has the pace to possibly win this race if he stays out of trouble.
Yeah, he certainly does. I mean, looking from his practice times, he was sitting P3 in the practice session, but we know Aeronama's got pace. We know he's going to pick it up over the course of the 90-minute endurance race. And like you said, I think he's just kind of trying to have a little bit of fun here in this final race and move up the order. Just kind of see if he starts from last, how quickly he can get to the front, which I estimate to be about a lap or two. But definitely going to be a fun little dynamic to see Aeronom for a change starting at the back of the field.
Yep, and then we go to our GS Open order, and this is a championship that's all wrapped up now with Cameron Martineau. Cameron Martineau is, I mean, it's not, as I said, it's all but wrapped up. Cameron Martineau will be the Open Division champion unless he finishes worse than 7th. And Lucas Ford wins the GS class. Now, I'm looking at the qualifying times for the moment. It doesn't look likely. Martineau qualifying 3rd so far. Lucas Ford is way down the order in 8th. So I think for Martineau, he's got that one wrapped up. And then we switch over to the most important championship today, because this is the closest and tightest battle so far. It is, of course, Robert Hartley on 236 points ahead of Mike Dam. Now, Tyler, this is much more complicated to discuss here, but to keep it simple, it's going to be close, and qualifying is going to be ever important for Mike Dam. If he can grab that pole position, an extra bonus point, it will help his championship charge.
Yeah, it certainly will. I think that our overlay graphic is not quite correct there, because I know that Travis Schwenke is certainly not leading the ST Pro Championship, but like you said, it's definitely going to be close between Hartley and Dam. It's pretty much a case at this point of whoever finishes ahead of the other one is going to become the champion. And that is certainly crucial indeed. But right now, Robert Hartley's doing what he needs to do to win the championship. He has put that car so far on the pole position by about 4/10 over Mike Dam.
Yep, and Travis Schwenke is actually between Eric Violet and Chris Thorman on 174 points. So that graphic, as Tyler said, is incorrect there. But apart from that, everybody else behind is in the correct order, if that makes sense. And then we switch over to our ST Open class, and Elvis Rankin again. Similar to our GS Open standings, he's all but wrapped up that title. And I'm pretty sure, even if Lyndon McMurphy, I think, wins the entire ST class in general, he'll still have no chance, I don't think, of passing Elvis Rankin.
He does not. According to what I have here in the notes, even if Lyndon McMurphy were to win the ST race, Elvis Rankin would still end up winning on points. So Elvis has pretty much got that championship wrapped up here at Daytona. It's pretty much just go out and survive here for the final round for him. And right now, he's trying to find him here on our standings. He's obviously not doing too well right off the bat, unless I'm just completely missing him.
Who are you looking for? You looking for Rankin?
Yes.
He's at the top, isn't he? Oh, of my standings. Sorry, I'm looking at different standings to you. Yeah, but Elvis Rankin's obviously leading the standings, 168. In qualifying, Yeah, I don't see Elvis ranking in qualifying unless he's not even racing and he's wrapped up the championship. It's a long list here in the MX5, so we've had to look through all of these pre-broadcasts, and there's some names. They're all familiar names. I'll tell you what, it's good to see the participation at a high here to end the season.
Yeah, certainly is. I mean, this is one of the bigger grids that we've seen here this season. So certainly good to see for the Sports Car Series Championship. And obviously, we don't have any new schedules coming out, or really any new announcements coming out. But now that there's no GT4 cars being announced, I would be definitely interested to see what the series decides to do for next season, whether they decide to put the TCR car in there and have that replace the Mustang, or if we get another season of Mustang and MX-5 racing.
Would be lovely for sure. What would you like, of course? I mean, the MX-5 is a car you drive in the real world, and I think you told me pre-broadcast that the V7 tire model actually is an improvement over the old tire model. The only issue you would have, Tyler, is probably just getting the tires warmed up. You feel like it's a little longer than it would be in the real world. You said in the real world, it takes a couple of corners, whereas here today we're expecting these drivers, especially in qualifying and the early stages of the race, to struggle for about the opening 2 laps.
Yeah, that's from my testing after the newest patch that came out for iRacing today. It takes me about 2 to 3 laps to get the tires up to temperature without making the tires go a little bit too hot. That's also what can happen there. That is a prime example of what can happen when you push too hard on a colder set of tires. You can end up in a barrier. But basically, yeah, like you said, it takes a little bit too long in comparison to the real world for the tires to get up to temperature. Even whenever we go from the BF Goodrich tires that we run in the MX-5 Cup, which is what these are based off of, and also our Pirellis, they take about the same at about half a lap is the bad one on a very, very cold track. But on a hot track like this, it really wouldn't take that long. So it'd be interesting to see how quickly these drivers can get the tires up to temperature. But for my testing, it does take a little bit longer than usual.
I can't wait for the race coming up so far. We just saw our 2 championship challengers spin at the end of qualifying there. That was Robert Hartley and Mike Dan. Hartley was actually into the wall, wasn't he, at one stage? Travis Schwenke's qualified well so far in this event. He's up there in the first few rows. Jacob Beasley, he had a good event at Imola. Now, Tyler, I know you were absent for that event, but Jacob Beasley had some great pace at Imola. Just couldn't keep the consistency together, and that's been a storyline for him for the past season.
Yeah, I was not able to attend Imola, but certainly has been. But this is going to be one of those races, I think, that really no one knows what to expect going in, because in the GS class we kind of know what to expect, but over in your ST class, this is going to be the first race for these drivers in an endurance race like this on the V7 tire models. They don't really know going into it how everything stacks up. I mean, they only got the newest build a matter of hours ago. So the chances of them having their setups perfectly figured out and having time to actually test everything appropriately is very slim to none. So I'm going to be interested to see how these drivers cope with the tire wear and the tire heat as they go over this race.
Yeah, this is one of the most interesting events in quite some time because of the timing of that new build. And what a brilliant shot that is over the grandstand here in Florida. Brilliant part about this circuit, Tyler, is we get to see a plane land. How often is it at the end of every event? I don't know, but it's every now and then we'll get to see a plane land.
I think it's every 15 minutes, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's every single 15 minutes. And yeah, it's definitely something cool about Daytona. This is something I remember from the 24 hours that whenever we ran here. And getting just to see that happen all the time whenever you're going out for your stint, it made doing a 2-hour stint in the middle of the night a little bit less terrible.
It made it feel more immersive. Is that true that a plane would land every 15 minutes at Florida? Must be a busy airport.
It is. It's actually not a very busy airport, but there are planes that do land. Now, you're not going to get any very big planes usually, but there are some small planes that'll land here and there. And they do usually land about every 15 minutes.
Well, it's too early to look at the grid, I think. So we have about 40 seconds until we can do that officially. But At the top of the GS Pro class for the moment, you'll see in about 30 seconds' time will be Tyler Shiflett. He'll start on pole position for the first time in quite some time, Tyler. I'm not even sure the last time I remember Tyler Shiflett starting on pole, if he ever has. So Shiflett there with the only driver to break in the 2-minute 1.9 range. He'll start alongside his teammate Clint Vigas. Brilliant opportunity for the Mech Motorsports teammates to claim a 1-2.
Certainly is a good opportunity. And just seeing here in the chat, Arrow said that he's not going to go full out of the start. He's just going to go safe and take it lap by lap. So this is going to be probably one of the most interesting races I've seen, at least from RGS in a long time. But the grid is ready to go.
And here it is up on screen. So we talked about the Mech Motorsports teammates. I'll start ahead of Martineau, who's ready to wrap up the Open and Championship. Russ Ruddock will start in the second row. And then we have the rest of the order behind, which includes Jacobs, Daniel, Holland, Lucas Ford as well, who's challenging for the Open title along with Martineau. Robert Brist, Raymond Bader round out the top 10. It's a 12-car field for your GS Pro division. And Aeronom will start from last behind Michael Hilliard. So look out for Aeronom, our champion, confirmed, to whether or not he can sweep out this season, starting from the back and take 9 wins from 9. Then we head over to the MX5 class, and your ST drivers include Hartley on pole position. What a brilliant performance from him. The only driver to break into the 2-minute 9 range ahead of DJ Alessandrini, who's an ever so strong qualifier. Now that's critical for Alessandrini, more so critical for Mike Dam. He's split by DJ, and he will start behind his championship challenger of Hartley, just ahead of Eric Violet in the D2D eSports car. Mitchell Peak, what a brilliant qualifying performance from Mr. Peak himself. And he'll start from 5th, ahead of Travis Schwenke. Schwenke hasn't had the best of seasons to his potential, so he'll hope to end it on a high here and at least remain in that lead battle in the opening stages. And then right behind it's McMurphy from Beasley. Like we said, Beasley has some strong pace. Needs to figure out the consistency sometime soon. Taylor and Thorman will start down the order ahead of the D2D eSports car of Bobby Childs. Very odd to see John Allen starting down the order, Tyler, there in 24th overall. Not a position we're used to seeing John Allen start from.
No, definitely not a position that we're seeing him start. He starts way down the order. So we'll see if he kind of, I don't know, that could be just one of those things. Drivers not used to this new tire model. It's a tricky tire model to figure out and to really get your setup nailed for. So that could just be what we see with him. Obviously, he doesn't have a teammate to help him out with anything. And the David Payton, Jordy Fike, Greg Mack, Michael Key, Edgar Sanchinelli, Greg Brockway, and then it will be Matthew Hendy and Praktik Prevenos. That will round out your grid. We got to get going here because the field is already rolling.
About to go green here for 90 minutes of action. Welcome along if you're joining us on Apex Racing TV on any of our associated platforms. Hope you enjoy all the action coming up here for the final round of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Now, it's important for Eric Violet and John Allen to win this race. They have 0 wins to their name this season, so that's something that they'll be biting for in the closing stages. Now to this start, Tyler, it's going to bottleneck into turn 1.
It certainly is. Everyone's going to be checking up pretty hard down in towards turn number 1. So I wouldn't be surprised if we possibly see some incidents there. Drivers really just kind of maybe getting a bit impatient with the driver ahead of them. I'm going to pull up the track map here just because I don't want to miss this start in your ST field. This will be the first time everyone's going to be charging under to turn 1 on these stone cold tires. But the field is in the hands of Tyler Shiflett, and they're going to go green flag racing here for the finale of Season 15.
Shiflett ahead of his teammate Vigas, but Martineau has a nose up the inside of the Mech Motorsports driver of Vigas, and they're still going to be alongside each other here into this trail braking zone of the first few corners at Daytona. Brilliant start from Martineau. You can see in that white and pink Mustang. I'll tell you what, though, Vigas with some thrilling pace around the outside, maintained second. Now we switch to the start of your ST class. Robert Hartley with a brilliant getaway. And have a look at that from DJ Alessandrini. Opts for the inside line, has the slipstream. Violet has to go to the outside, and I think that might pay off for Eric Violet.
That is going to pay off indeed for Eric Violet. He's going to send it around the outside, but he's going to slide out a little bit, and he's going to be side by side with Alessandrini. He's going to clear him, though. Heading down in towards turn number 3, down into the hairpin this time. Travis Schwanke looks to make a move there on Mitchell Peak, and he's going to do so, and almost makes a move past Alessandrini as well. He's going to try and slot in with Mike Dam. Mike Dam almost clears Alessandrini round the outside. This is going to be a difficult one to do, and it is going to be Mike Dam. Ooh, he gets very sideways indeed, and that's someone off in the background.
It looks like Mitchell Peak is off the racetrack there. He's struggling on these cold tires. We spoke about the new tire model here. So Mitchell Peak, they're already struggling in the first sector here at Daytona, but Mike Dam, critically for the championship, loses the position at the beginning and is behind 2 drivers that he'll need to dispose of quickly. But have a look at Hartley. If he breaks the toe here, Tyler, I think this race is over already.
I would agree with you on that one, but it's very difficult to do so at Daytona. That's one of the things here with this new ND2 upgrade package that these cars have gotten. They've also gotten that horsepower advantage that we get in the real world as well. So that's something to also keep in mind, is that these guys will have more revs and more power to play with, and that could also increase the draft range a little bit here at the high banks of Daytona. Being that it is such a high-speed circuit, the more speed you have is just going to create a bigger draft.
And an update on Aeronom. He's up 2 positions now ahead of Brist and Hilliard. And there he is entering the first sector here at Daytona and on towards the International Horseshoe at turn 3. This right-hander that we see our leaders slot themselves by, but Shiflett will have a race to remember if he can pull away for the lead. And this is why this opening stint right now for Shiflett is ever so critical, Tyler, because as much time as Aeronom's going to lose, Shiflett needs to capitalize on it.
He certainly does. He needs to break away as far as he possibly can from Aeronom if he wants a chance at winning this race, because I've seen Aeronom drive here at Daytona before, and he is rapid. So it's going to be very difficult for him to, if he doesn't pull away, to defend from Aeronom, but it really depends on how quickly Nom makes his way up through the field.
And we still watch the field spread out right now. A brilliant start from Martineau in the open class. Almost took second overall as we watch our leaders in the MX-5. This includes Mike Dam on screen here in that number 93 Crypto Orange racing car. Now we flick towards our leader, Robert Hartley. He's lost that advantage I was talking about. And he's just, whoa, he's gone very wide through there. That looks like turn 5, isn't it? As they run towards the oval in a second's time. This is turn 6. Look at the advantage Robert Hartley is losing. Now, why is that? Is he just trying to get these tires warmed up? But everybody else is in the same boat, I would guess.
From the looks of it, to me, Alessandrini has opted for a setup with a bit more tire pressure in them to get the tires up to temperature that little bit faster. But Robert Hartley's gone for more of the endurance setup, which I think is going to be better in the long run. It takes a bit more time to get those tires up to temperature whenever you're on the lower tire pressures. But once you do get them up to temperature, they're going to be faster than the drivers that are on the higher pressures.
And some bump drafting going on between Alessandrini and Hartley here in the lead. And look at the train now that's forming up in your ST class. This is what we love to see as we ride on board with the Crypto Orange racing driver of Dam.
Just see there how difficult it was for him to get the car through the bus stop. That's why I started to ride on board with it, because I thought we were going to get a big slide from him, but we don't get any of that. But this is a challenge for the race lead. Robert Hartley and Alessandrini side by side. Alessandrini round the outside, and he's going to clear Robert Hartley.
And look who's going to obtain the toe here. That's Eric Violet up the inside. Violet could possibly pass Hartley. Look at this, heading into the first sector. Oh, almost loss of traction under braking there. And Hartley here, this could be a double whammy if Violet can edge his way past, heading into the International Horseshoe. But look at the harem-scarum going on behind here in the, with all these drivers. I think that's your top 7 cars, all within a couple of seconds of each other.
That is actually the top 8 we have here. Then it only falls off 1 second back to Mitchell Peak. I mean, this is the new tire model racing at its finest here.
You think Daytona promotes this? I mean, we did see something similar to this in last season when we here at Daytona, but a couple of drivers running wide. Hartley yet again making an error heading into turn 5. That's going to open the door for his championship challenger in Mike Dam. Now, we don't know if it will be enough here for Mike Dam for the moment. You will need to win this race for his best challenge over Hartley, but he's pushing for it. He wants his championship like there's no tomorrow.
That could certainly be the case here. It all depends, though, on how Robert Hartley does and if Mike Dam can get a win out of this and Robert Hartley can finish a little bit down the order because he didn't get that bonus point of qualifying on the pole, which is critical. And Mike Dam needs to lead a lap, so he needs to get by DJ Alessandrini with a quickness.
And an update on Aeronom, you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, is now disposed of Lucas Ford. So Aeronom's now into the top 9. Shiplet and Vigas, though, need to be working together in the lead because when I look at that gap, it's only 2/10 of a second. Is it 3/10 now on the left-hand side of the screen? So that's you don't want to be tripping over each other, battling away like these guys here in the ST class. But have a look at Mike Dam now around the outside. I think this will be a common sight here today, Tyler, for the next 90 minutes.
I think that this is what we're going to see this entire event. I mean, this is not only what Daytona promotes. I know that you said that, and I completely remember that from the last time we were here at Daytona. But I think that that's also what the new tire model's doing because this is such an unknown for these drivers. They're all skating around on ice here for these first few laps. And speaking of that, Robert Hartley's going to run wide, and he may lose a position here to Eric Violet.
This is critical for the championship for Hartley, don't forget. Can't finish any lower than 4th if Mike Dam wins this race. I'll double check that for you. It's very complicated, of course, when you account for bonus points and everything else. But for Mike Dam, he's in prime position here with a lead, but Hartley just doesn't seem comfortable on this set of rubber.
I really don't think that Robert Hartley's got this figured out. I think he's lacking something in the setup here at Daytona. I just don't think he's got that short run setup, but from the look of it, it looks like his tires are starting to come in a little bit more every lap. So it kind of just depends for me, I think, on how quickly Robert Hartley can get these tires up to temperature, because I think once he gets them up to temperature, he's got the better long-run setup.
Now, you saw at the bottom of the screen, there was an incident investigated between cars 56 and 66. That was Mitchell Peak and Mike Taylor, respectively. No further action is required as deemed by our race stewards here and for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series, of course, presented by Performer Elite Texas Graphics. So give them a look when you're available too. Certainly after the race, you can't look away from this action so far as they head into the bus stop yet again. Mike Dam's made a mockery of that, and he's going to be vulnerable from an attack. Now, did I see contact between Hartley and the 91 of Alessandrini?
I think that you did there, and I think Robert Hartley's gotten a slowdown.
May have certainly. He's trying to get rid of it somehow. I mean, trying to go to the outside, possibly. Just trying to take a longer line and get rid of it. I'm not sure how it works here, but Hartley there is going to lose even more positions. God, this is hurting his race.
Robert Hartley for sure has a slowdown, and that is something that it was patched a few updates ago here on the iRacing service. You can no longer just run wide. You've actually got to let off, and that's what Robert Hartley had to do there. And that is only promoting more drivers up into the mix. Look at John Allen. He's going to move himself up. He's moved up some positions here at the start, so wouldn't be surprising to me if he moves up. But look at the battle we got up front.
That's a problem for Hartley when you're just too experienced. Some of the old veteran tricks just don't work anymore. And my goodness, Tyler, I don't even know who's leading at the moment. It's Mike Dam for sure, but who's in second, Violet or Alessandrini? Says Violet on the timing screen. Not sure if it's going to be this way in 20 seconds time as they head into turn 5 yet again. Where is Hartley now? He's just formed up into this train. So Hartley's 8th overall, 7th in the pro class. He's right behind Mitchell Peak. So he'll be wanting to dispose of Peak anytime soon, but I just tried to count that in that shot, Tyler. It was difficult, but it looked like, what, 10 cars. 10 cars there, separated by... do you have the gap? I don't have the gap between 1st and 10th. It seems like it's 3 seconds.
Let me quickly pull up the gap here.
You going to calculate it?
It is. So it's 3 seconds back to Hartley. Now let's jump back here to 10th, and it's going to be 6 seconds.
Oh, okay. So very, very close. Now, you just saw at the bottom of the screen, Matthew Hendy, our one of 2 European drivers out here in the field, just received a drive-through penalty for an incident that was investigated between himself and car 66. That was Mike Taylor. So Mike Taylor involved in another incident, but it looked like Hendy was at fault for this one. The only driver from the UK this afternoon. It's been a while since we've seen Hendy in this competition. It's good to see him back out there, but it hasn't lasted long without controversy. Here's Alessandrini now on the back straight. The bus stop, on the front straight, I should say, after the bus stop. The bus stop braking zone is one of the toughest, I think, at this racetrack, because you come at the apex of the corner from such high speeds.
Look at this here. Sorry to interrupt you there just a little bit, but we got Bobby Childs even looking for a move here. They were all spread out down towards turn number 1. These guys up front are really fighting hard here, and Robert Hartley is losing more in time to them. So this could be crucial for the championship, because right now, Mike Dam would win it.
This is very critical. Mike Dam searching for a championship that he hasn't won in oh so long. Does have the most wins to his name this season. Let's not forget that. Mike Dam does have 4 to his name in 7 races. 2 other podiums as well. Only finished off the podium in 1 event, but it's not over for Hartley. Here's Eric Violet on screen, heading through the International Horseshoe ahead of Chris Thorman. So Hartley, I don't think, is this race going to get better for him? I don't think so. Maybe these tires are getting worse and worse. Maybe he's running. I'm not really sure. I think it's something to do with tires for sure.
I don't think Robert Hartley has the setup. Now, by this point, for sure, the tires would have come in. So I think that Robert Hartley just hasn't quite gotten the setup. Maybe he's gotten the tires. Possibly he's gone too high on pressures, which is causing him to lose grip right off the get-go, and it's only going to get worse for him here. But I would be interested to see, because if that is the case, when he comes into pit and they change tires, if they do, then he will obviously drop the pressures to inevitably make him quicker. But I will be interested to see if that changes during the pit stop, because if it doesn't, then he's got something else wrong with the setup.
Yeah, wow, that could be a championship changer for sure. Look how close. By the way, when you look at the GS class as well, which we haven't really looked at much this race, still ever so close as we ride on board with Mitchell Peak. Well, this is Vargas now in the lead, so you can see on the track map on the right-hand side of the screen, the number 1s that's highlighted in orange is our GS leaders, and then look at the bottom of the screen heading over the start-finish line. Look how close our MX-5 field is.
Yeah, the MX-5 field is just oh so close here, and so is your GS field. Let's check in on Aerodom. He's currently in 7th place, though, 3 seconds behind your leading 6 GS cars. I would like that to sink in a little bit. Leading 6 GS cars. We haven't seen that since, I think, Daytona last season. So this is just wonderful to see for the GS field.
I remember last season, Robert Hartley and Mike Dam ran these Mustang cars. So it was a whole different race that time. And look at the 2 teammates working together here as Shiflett gives Vargas a bit of a bump draft. Vargas into the lead after Shiflett led the early laps. And has he pushed him a little bit too much, because Vargas has run a bit hot into the braking zone. They need to be careful of Martineau, Jacobs, Russ Ruddock behind. Don't forget Steve Daniel. And there are your leaders heading towards the first lapped cars in your field. Look at the track map now, Tyler. There is an entire back straight there and front straight that's unoccupied.
Yeah, that basically shows how close everyone is here. I mean, it's pretty much a train of GS cars and a train of MX-5s with a few scattered here and there around the racetrack that have separated out from the main group. But pretty much anyone who's stuck in the main draft, it's pretty much impossible at Daytona to lose that. So it's one of those things. This just shows how wonderful Daytona racing can be. It can be so frustrating if you're actually in the race, but it can be so wonderful to watch for us up here in the commentary booth.
And the pit windows will open in about 15 minutes time, so we're not expecting anyone, despite you see one driver in the pit lane at the bottom of the screen. We won't see anyone really enter realistically until about that 30-minute mark. Around then, as Alessandrini snatches the lead from Mike Dam. Now, don't tell me Mike Dam has a slowdown here after the bus stop.
Can I say I think that he does?
Oh, no. He's slowing down even more. Now, I'm not sure if that's the momentum. I think he's cleared it now because he's starting to pick up his pace just a little bit more. Now, what's happened here? This is bizarre. Alessandrini slowed down rapidly.
This is strategic here. These guys are playing the strategy game. Mike Dam did not want to lead, and Alessandrini knew the game that he was playing and played it right on there with him, and he's dropping back now, too.
Well, how about this? When was the last time we saw Bobby Charles lead a race? And this is pre-pit stop, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Charles leads so far for your ST class overall. Nobody wants to lead this race. Bobby Charles said, you know what, guys? I want a bonus point to my name. Why not?
This is just wonderful. Bobby Childs, we haven't spoken to him in so long. He is due for a good result. I think that you could agree with me on that one. When is the last time this man has caught a break and been, just as quick as he is today? He's really showed some pace on this new tire model, and this is wonderful to see.
Brilliant stuff from the D2D esports driver, and brilliant for the team. He's in a championship battle with his teammates, so he'll want some bragging rights ahead of them here. But this will all come down to pit stops, Tyler. So explain this for the viewers at home. These drivers all trying to save, as we see an incident under review at the bottom of the screen, but the drivers all trying to save fuel, which will make their pit stops quicker.
Yeah, everyone's trying to save that little bit of fuel that can be saved by just following back in line, and also really tires can be saved as well because you're not going as fast. As Eric Violet runs very wide, and that's going to be a slowdown indeed for him. But back to what I was saying, though, you're not going to be using as much fuel by running in the draft, and you also won't be using as much tire either. So those are two major advantages of running back in the draft, as Eric Violet really has to serve that slowdown. And there's Robert Hartley. He's back in 10th place. This is abysmal for Robert Hartley.
Now, I'm thinking, Robert Hartley, did he actually get a slowdown, or do you think he was deliberately slowing down? Oh, as we see 3 wide here on the main straight.
Absolutely not. Robert Hartley would have been back up there. He would not risk being this far back in an event. This has been him before doing that, so there's no way Robert Hartley's doing this on purpose, because I just don't think he would have fallen that far back.
How many hours has this tire model been out for on this car? It's been what?
It released at, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was 1 p.m. or 12 p.m. EST, which is about 8 or 9 hours ago.
Wow. So unless somebody has no job or works freelance or something like that, they've been able to test for 7 hours. I doubt anyone's done that much. Anyone who's come back from work, come here to race in the evening here in the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech SportsCar Series, the problem for them is understanding this tire model. We're trying to figure out here how everything's going on in the commentary booth. What I noticed was when I did the F3 testing, when the V7 came out on that tire, on that car for the first time, same with the Skip Barber, is if you ran the lowest pressures, didn't matter if you were racing or not, seemed to be the quickest. I don't know if that's changed at the moment heading into Season 1 2020.
It certainly hasn't. I did about an hour's worth of testing today on the V7 tire model, and I really dove into it. And even for me, and I understand our real-life setups, I know where we set our cars in real life, and I was trying the things, and they actually got the setups now pretty close to how we run them in real life, but they really changed a lot of stuff on the setups. For somebody like you were saying, who's just come home from work and jumped on and tried to race, first off, there's no way they can use an old setup, and a lot of people didn't know that they were changing to the ND2 spec, which is the faster car, and a lot of people didn't know that they were making changes to the V7 tire model and how they were heated up. So that is something that a lot of people had a big curveball run into them whenever they got home.
Well, that Bobby Charles lead was short-lived. Now it's Schwenke who snatches the lead from the rest of the bunch. That camera shot there, I mean, it doesn't do it justice. These drivers come from such high speeds into such a tight braking zone. Here they head through the first sector yet again. Doubt that Alessandrini is going to search for the lead. Bobby Childs maintains third ahead of Mike Dam. Hartley is still where? Is he ninth in the order?
He is currently sitting down in ninth, yes.
Wow, so he's going to have to pick off some cars sometime soon. I don't want to overthink it with Hartley. It could be anything. Could be tires. He could be sitting tight trying to save fuel. Could be a multitude of things. I think he may have had a peek up the inside of someone there in the background. We saw... Oh, he was. I think he was... Oh, he's letting one of the GS cars past. That's your leader, Clint Vigas, trying to make his way through the order. This is critical right now. Cameron Martineau slots himself into second. I'm looking for Tyler Shiflett. Now, is Tyler Shiflett... He hasn't entered the pit lane, so issues for Tyler Shiflett because I don't see him in our top three.
Well, here we go. This is going to be the answer to our problems here on this lap, actually. This was recently... Oh, he's just lost it under... Oh, he's just lost under acceleration.
That's going to be a long pit stop, and it's going to be an immense amount of damage.
That's a blown engine. Tyler Shiflett's done.
Tyler Shiflett, he could be out of this race, our pole sitter. For what could have been a Mech Motorsports 1-2 is most certainly no longer. Aeronom's currently in the 5th position overall, 4th in the pro class. But for Vigas and Shiflett, the dream is over for a 1-2 finish. We could potentially see 4 wide here across this main straight as the Mustangs make their way through. And they dispose of them quickly. That's Jeff Jacobs in the 38 in the orange Mustang. And then we watch our leaders here. This is the 22. Is that John Allen in the 22? It is. So John Allen in the Defined Auto Works car, disposing of as many drivers as he can here. Lyndon McMurphy also in this bunch. So McMurphy, I mean, I'll tell you what, this is chaos right now. I don't know who's where, and I don't even know who to look at right now.
I really don't either. This is probably hardest producing things that I've had to do in a while because there is about 7 places that I want to look at one time, but I can only look at...
Hartley, though, makes his way up in the 7th now, ahead of Eric Violet. Oh, man. There's a bit of a gap here to Mitchell Peak, though, up ahead. Mitchell Peak's driving really well this race. Good on Mitchell Peak. Peak comes into this championship all the way down in 15th heading into this race. So, having a race to remember for sure. There's the 22 of Allen that we were speaking about before. Now, here are your leaders here. Schwenke from Alessandrini. Bobby Childs still 3rd. Bobby Childs, I'll tell you what, would you put bets on him to win this race unexpectedly, Tyler? How much would that be paying?
Oh, man, the problem with Daytona is I can't put money on anyone because it's a lottery on who wins this race. I mean, I could put money on any one of these drivers to win this race, and I've got decent odds of them actually doing it. I mean, at this point, Mike Dam could still win this race from 14th. Wait, what's happened to Mike Dam?
Mike Dam's fallen down the order here. Mike Dam is down in the 14th position. So had there been issues trying to lap one of the Mustangs? Here's a replay on screen. I see 2 Mustangs coming up. Don't tell me. Oh, he's entered his box. That's a very early pit stop for Mike Dam.
Strategy. I would like to see if he actually goes into his box, though, because something else that iRacing has released in the past week is that if you get a certain number of incident points, you get a drive-through. Okay, yes, he has entered his box, thank God. So he has not gotten a drive-through penalty. But here's the question. Does he take tires? Yes, he does. So this is just a very early pit stop here for Mike Dam.
Now, we cut off from the replay there, but he's definitely taken right-side tires. And when I look at the pit time for Mike Dam, it was about 24 seconds, so I only believe he's taken right-side tires. You can't get all 4 done in that quick of a time, as we see Childs here back in the 2nd position. That's a very early pit stop for Mike Dam, because we weren't expecting anyone in until the 30-minute mark. Now, why has he done that? Because he's going to lose the slipstream.
Yeah, I'm really not sure. That is going to completely throw this race up on its head, that could cost Mike Dam the championship. That could be the championship deciding choice there for Mike Dam, because at this point, Robert Hartley just needs to keep on trucking and stay with the lead group.
Tell you what, Hartley's not doing too well either, so it doesn't really affect him too much. I would hope so. Hartley needs to make amends for what was a good first few laps, but then a very poor second stage of the race. And he's trying to do that from the 5th position in the pro class, but it's officially 7th overall in the Excite racing car. Now, in this new tire model, Tyler, I'm not sure how experienced you are, but if Mike Dam pits, will he be quicker, or will the tires take too long to heat up?
No, the tires will take time to heat up again. Now, iRacing has added on the tire warmers, which will make the tires come up to temperature a bit quicker, but he will still have effects of cold tires here. So, but everyone will still be in that same boat, so I'm interested to see whether that actually really affects him or not, or if he's going, or if it's all just going to even out in retrospect. But the biggest deal for me is the fact that he doesn't have the draft, so he's not going to be able to get that toe down the straightaway that these other drivers can, and really can be a huge speed factor.
Bobby Childs with the speed factor right now. We're right on board with Alessandrini. What a thrilling shot that is. This is exactly what Alessandrini would be seeing right now as he drives through the cockpit. Bobby Childs right now through turn 1. Very wide is Schwenke. Now, is that the quickest line through there?
Turn 1 is one of those corners in an MX-5, and really in any car, that can be run a multitude of ways. There's really not a right or wrong way through turn number 1. It's pretty much down to driver preference and whatever your setup will allow.
So pit stop's coming up in a few minutes' time. And we'll see whether or not our championship challenger of Mike Dam and his early pit stop, will that pay off for the Canadian? He is one of 2 Canadians out there in the field along with David Payton. Will it pay out for the American here of Robert Hartley? One of the most experienced I-rated drivers in the field, one of the most experienced I-racers. Almost a 10K I rating. He's dabbling closer and closer, Tyler, to the 9.7K mark. I'm not sure if he's ever achieved 9.7K before.
I'm not sure either. I feel like he's been up there. I think that he has been up there, but then has had a little bit of issues, just like iRacing is. You have one bad race, and in his I rating, you finish 4th in a race, and you're losing a bunch of I ratings. So, but I believe I've seen him at over 9.7K.
Yeah, so Hartley, give him a message, ladies and gentlemen. His inbox might be full because there's probably a multitude of people asking him for advice on how to be quick in the world of iRacing. No matter what tire model he's in, no matter what car, he's always been very quick. He ran even the V8 supercar. I remember back in 2012, 2013 range, he was an avid driver of the V8 there. I'd love to see you in some open wheelers, Robert Hartley. I'm an open wheeler fan, so get involved in that if you have the time. But he's always been a fan of the tin tops. As we watch the lead here again between Schwenke and Childs. Vigas now ahead of Jacobs. I'm just having a look at the lead between those two. It's extruded to about 3 seconds, but Jacobs and Martineau are in a good train here. This will help Cameron Martineau's pursuit towards saving a bit of fuel.
The biggest story, I think, though, Aeronom has come from last. He's currently sitting at 3rd in the pros, and he's just got to catch up. He's got to catch up 2 more seconds to Jacobs and Martineau, which could take him a bit of time to do that, but then he's got to close up another 4-second gap up to Clint Vigas. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a long shot for Aeronom to get this victory. Could this be the first victory that we see for Clint Vigas in quite some time?
To be honest with you, I think Aeronom's going to win this race, but it's going to be a challenge. It's taken him this long to head up in the 4th after half an hour. So how long is it going to take him to obtain that lead? Robert Hartley is in the 3rd position there. There's the number 3. Edges ahead of a DJ Alessandrini. They head through turn 6. And we ride on board with the Excite Racing driver is Robert Hartley. Not the best exit, Tyler. He's going to lose a lot of momentum here on the back straight. But I think he'll be comfortable to maintain third ahead of Alessandrini. Now, this will be the time as the pit window opens to see if anybody here in your lead battle dives in. Clint Vigas does from the lead of your GS class.
So Vigas into the pits. He's the only one in GS who has decided to do that. But in your ST field, actually, Russ Ruddick decided to come in and Steve Daniels. So they all decide to come in. But in your ST class, I think it's pretty much going to be follow the leader here. And when the leader comes in, everyone is going to come in. And it's going to become a very busy pit lane at that point.
Look at the pit party right now. Russ Ruddick, Steve Daniel, Derek Holland, Raymond Bader are in. Now we have a look at your leaders in your MX-5s. This is the time to see. There's a brilliant shot from our pit cam of everybody diving in. Schwenke's diving in, I think. Is he going? Oh, is he going to the apron? That was difficult to see.
Schwenke's diving in. Child's in. Hartley and Allison, Treaty and Violet and Beacon. Allen and
There's
McMurphy,
a Mustang.
Thorman.
They're the Mustang. Is that Robert Brist? No, it's not. Who's the Mustang that's coming?
Camera shot. Look at this camera shot. Now, this is my new background picture right there with everyone diving down onto the pit lane. This is wonderful.
This is did not finishers, ladies and gentlemen. These are live cars still in this race, all servicing their cars at the same time. And it was all determined by Schwenke entering the pit lane. Now, there's Lucas Ford, the only, the only Mustang we see realistically in the shot. We see the 24 there of Tyler Shiflett, who's out of the race. Quicker pit stop for the Mustangs, a lot longer in the MX-5s. That's Bobby Childs out and away quickly. Robert Hartley may take the lead here.
I think that Robert Hartley's just snatched the lead, but this is going to be cold tires. We know how much Robert Hartley struggled on these cold tires early on in this race, so this is going to be really interesting to see if Hartley loses that again, but look who's 14 seconds out in the lead.
Goodness me, Mike Dam is in the lead by a substantial margin. It worked out for him. He understands this new tire model like he's been secretly involved in some beta testing. There is Jeff Jacobs, Cameron Martineau, and our champion Aeronom here entering the pit lane for the first time of two in this race. Hartley leads. He's got 14 seconds to make up on Mike Dam. It'll be interesting to understand this tire model now, Tyler, as to whether or not Robert Hartley can catch Mike Dam in the next few laps, because if Mike Dam's tires don't last, this could end Mike Dam's race. Otherwise, I think it will swing the opposite way. This could make Mike Dam's race if this pays off to perfection.
Yeah, it all depends on how well Mike Dam is able to run those tires out, like you were saying, and it also depends on whether Mike Dam goes for 4 tires at the end of the race, or he is able to make the 2-tire strategy work, because it's all relative really here. If you go for the flip strategy and he went for 2 tires on this stop and 4 tires on the next, then you would assume that he would be about the same as Robert Hartley, but right now he's maintaining with Hartley, so I wouldn't be surprised maybe Mike Dam is able to make a 2-tire strategy work.
And Aeronoms just entered the pit lane along with a couple other drivers ahead. Included Martineau, Jacobs, and here is Aeronom on screen. He's all over the rear end of Jacobs. And there is Cameron Martineau in the second position. This could be a move into your provisional podium positions for our season champion of Aeronom here for season 15. Right behind Martineau. And you could make another move here as we switch towards, back to Aeronom here. Aeronom probably going to dispose of Martineau sometime soon. And then after that, he's going to have 5 seconds to take this lead. He's all over the rear end of Cameron Martineau.
Yeah, Aeronom all over Cameron Martineau. Is he going to move up into what is the second position overall here? But he's still got 5.6 seconds to catch Clint Vigas. But this is straight up pace on pace between Clint Vigas and Aeronom. If Aeronom can get by Cameron Martineau here with a quickness.
Wow, what a cracking race. Both classes so far, it's been thrilling. Aeronom here is going to slice up the inside and dispose of Martineau. Has Martineau received a slowdown possibly? That's the question. I don't think so. I think he's just letting Aeronom through. He's going to reclaim that draft. And don't tell me Martineau's going to repass Aeronom here.
I think, oh no, he's not. He is going to slow up there.
Down.
Yeah, I think he had to slow down.
Yeah, so that confirms that. I thought it was just trying to let him through there. It's very difficult to see here on the back straight. And some traffic didn't help Jeff Jacobs' chances of passing Iranom into turn 1. But nevertheless, though, we switch back towards your lead. Oh, no, Bobby Hartley's lost an immense amount of positions. Now this is before the bus stop. And then when he heads into the bus stop, he's got Mike Dam leading ahead of Hartley. That's by 13.5 seconds, and it's Schwenke, Violet, Alessandrini, and Childs. Now that these tires are warming up, Tyler, I want to see the gaps between Dam and Hartley. They've already disposed 1 second from him as Violet makes a mistake, but we'll see if it's more.
Yeah, it certainly could be more. I'm just taking a look here at the difference in pit stop times. Mike Dam was only 7 seconds less, so if you take off 7 seconds, Robert Hartley still needs to catch up 6 to get to the rear bumper of Mike Dam if he wants to do that after the pit stop strategies, and that's if Mike Dam doesn't take 2 tires in the next stop.
Now, is that because they've taken less fuel, Mike Dam, because he's come in earlier?
I don't think so. I think that he's taking the same amount. I think that that's just the difference between taking 1 and taking 2. And look at Bobby Childs. And I think that was Alessandrini. That was door banging at its finest into turn 1.
It's a brilliant racing gear, cracking event like we said so far. Here's a replay up on screen. This is what we just saw. There's a plane landing in the background, but the drivers are all focused on the apex of 1. Childs swings that D2D Esports MX-5 into the first few corners. He's having a thrilling race so far, the best I've ever seen from Bobby Childs.
I would have to agree with you on that one. I think that he is driving like he's so confident in this car, and this is something that I just haven't seen from Bobby Childs in quite some time. He's got this figured out perfectly here, and this new tire model seems to really suit his driving style.
Good stuff from Childs. A couple of lockups here that looked like it was from Alessandrini, or just throwing the dirt off the ground. Oh, to the outside goes Robert Hartley trying to break the toe. So what's Hartley trying to do here around the outside? No, sorry, not Hartley. Who am I looking at? That's oh God, I'm having a brain lapse.
That's a lap car of David Payton.
David Payton, excuse me. Yeah, I was getting confused there for a second. I'm like, that doesn't look like Hartley, but I just kept calling it. I didn't want to be wrong. And it ended up I was wrong at the end of the day. There is the Excite Racing driver in second. And Childs in 5th, so it's a lap car out of the way, like you said. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. That was proper Murray Walker, that. But that's a 64 of Payton, who has had better days for sure, the Canadian. He was up there, wasn't he, in the early stages? So what's happened to David Payton? I can't remember exactly.
He had some sort of incident on the first opening few minutes of this race, which caused him to have all those issues. But right now, as things stand, Mike Dam would not win the championship. He needs Robert Hartley to finish 1 spot lower.
Yeah, exactly. This is critical right now for Hartley. Doesn't have to win this race, but it will just cement his challenge a little bit more. Mike Dam's doing everything possible right now. He's had a cracking race. He's had a thriller, has Mike Dam, and that gap is going to decrease less and less throughout this event. So we'll keep you posted on all of this as we head to our first ad break for the day. Pit stop's over for the first time. Clint Vigas leads ahead of Aeronom in your GS class. That gap could be dwindled down over the next few minutes. The same can be said for our ST class. Don't leave us. You're watching the final round of Season 15 for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Welcome back to the final round of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series presented by Performer Elite Texas Graphics. And our championship could be decided in our ST class, but for the moment, the race has yet to be decided in our GS class. That's your Mustang field. And it's Clint Vigas who leads ahead of Aeronom, who started from the rear end of the field here for this race. That gap down to 4 seconds over the ad break. Aeronom has reduced the gap by over a second to Clint Vigas. So he's got the pace here. He's still got 45 minutes left in this race to catch the Mech Motorsports driver and snatch what would be a valiant victory for Mr. Vigas himself. But then for our ST class, the championship right now for Mike Dam, he is leading so far. We can confirm, and we've done all the math in the background, Mike Dam will win this championship if this race stays as is.
Yes, Mike Dam will be crowned your Season 15 championship if everything stays like it does. Now, if Robert Hartley takes over the lead, just so that everyone's aware, then Mike Dam must finish one place behind him and take both of his bonus points as long as Robert Hartley doesn't win. So that is the too long to read answer, and Mike Dam's into the pit lane.
So this will be a very long final stint for Mike Dam. Let's have a look at how many tires he'll take. He took right sides last time, don't forget. He's in the pit lane so far. Takes right sides again. Do you want to put $15 on this again, Tyler? He takes left sides?
I would be willing to bet that he takes left side tires, and he does.
So wait, did you say he wasn't?
Oh, I said he was.
Okay, we both said he was, so none of us get any money from that. But Mike Dam is out in the way with 4 fresh tires. And you know what? The ironic thing about this for Mike Dam is he going to rejoin with Slipstream now behind the rest of this bunch?
I think he's actually going to come out just ahead, just about 2 seconds, almost exactly, ahead of Jordy Fike. So he will not benefit from Slipstream, but he could benefit from a little bit of Slipstream that he can get from this Mustang.
So that was a 49-second pit lane time for Mike Dam. Even quicker than he was the first time. And then you look at his pit time, 24.8 seconds. Insane for Mike Dam, the Canadian. Now, whether or not his tires last for half the distance of this race, we still have under 45 minutes remaining of this 90-minute event, is the next question. So towards the end of this race, Mike Dam needs to finish ahead of Hartley, like you said, Tyler, to win this championship. It's all going to come down to tire management and tire preservation for that Canadian champion potentially for Season 15.
It certainly will, but I just want to know how Hartley has figured out how to take, Mike Dam, how he's figured out how to take 4 tires and the required amount of fuel and get out faster than that whole group of other cars did to do the same thing. I'm baffled right now. And if he can make that tire strategy work, that is going to be another thing that's going to absolutely baffle me, because I really don't know how he's going to make this work.
Well, the race is on now. Battle for the lead between Hartley, Alessandrini, and Travis Schwenke. Now, excuse me, it's not Alessandrini behind. There's a 66 lapped car there of Mike Taylor, but the lead does go to Travis Schwenke for the moment, who runs deep. Oh, no. Here are the two teammates right now. Schwenke does represent Excite Racing. He doesn't work with Robert Hartley. He also represents Asprey Motorsports. So 2 teams here for Travis Schwenke. So the 2 drivers here need to do a better job of working together, and I think they tried, but Schwenke just ran way too hot into the first corner.
Yeah, I think that they really did try there, but Schwenke was he was very determined, if I can get the words out, to send it into turn number 1, and he did so.
So do you think Mike Dam's going to last half the distance of this race? Oh, and one driver's off there at the inside. Someone was off there. I'm not sure if there was contact. Or is that every pilot?
That was Bobby Childs.
No, Bobby Childs. Oh, no.
Bobby Childs, I think we can actually get Bobby Childs the most unlucky driver award for this race, because we were just saying not even 15 minutes ago how good Bobby Childs was doing and how we think this was a better race for him. He's really got a chance to win. And now commentators cursed him, and he's ending up now down at 7th and mowing the lawn.
I'm not sure if there was contact there between him and one of the Mustangs. That was Clint Vigas in the lead. That's your lead battle in your Mustang class, heading through all this traffic. There is Iranom on screen in the 2nd position. Flick over to Hartley. Does Hartley change up his strategy for the moment? Will he dive into the pit lane this lap round?
I'm calling it now. Robert Hartley doesn't, because I'm telling you right now, Mike Dam doesn't. I don't think he's going to win this race like this. If I have to put money on it, Mike Dam doesn't win this race, and Robert Hartley's gifted the championship because Mike Dam's messed up on strategy.
We'll see whether or not the tires last for sure. It's a brilliant question, and it's all an unknown. If anyone can call it accurately, we'll be surprised. The new tire model on this MX-5 is ever so unpredictable. Every driver having to deal with it today, and it's given us a cracking event here to conclude season 15. As Childs runs deep into turn 1, that's going to open the door for Mitchell Peak. And there's a lap car there, the 38 of Jeff Jacobs, who's in a podium position in your GS class. Trying to get rid of these two ASAP. He's got to be careful he doesn't just throw someone off the racetrack like discarded rubbish, like we saw with Stelian Chepelevsky in the Rallycross series. And I'll dispose of him quite quickly. Eric Violet in the 89 not having the best of races there. We've seen Eric Violet have better days. But for now, we look at lap times, Tyler. 2-minute 13.1 for Hartley and Schwenke in the lead. More accurate time would be Alessandrini with a 2-minute 11.9. So I think Hartley and Schwenke have dealt with some traffic. And then we look at Mike Dam, 2-minute 11.6. No, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong time. Mike Dam, 2-minute 11. Oh, I did 2-minute 11.6. So his best time was his last time for the race. So brilliant stuff from Mike Dam.
Yeah, like you said, brilliant then from Mike Dam. And this is what he needs to be doing. He needs to get himself out on the biggest lead that he possibly can get, because if he doesn't, then he's not going to win this race, because the tire wear is going to be so much for him unless he's got that strategy just played out perfectly. And oh, that may be a slowdown there for Robert Hartley.
We'll wait and see. There's been a few of them this race for the drivers to deal with. It's worth a slowdown, isn't it, Tyler? Because if you get a good run out of the bus stop, look at all this time you can gain across this full throttle section of the racetrack, as we see an incident at the bottom of the screen under investigation.
Yeah, so under investigation, and that's car 95 and 29. So that is between Russ Ruddick
and Patrick Previnas.
29, Patrick Previnas.
So different classes.
Yeah, we don't often see incidents between different classes, but that can happen whenever the drivers are getting a little bit too, let's just say, I'm trying to think of a good word for this, impatient. That's what I'm looking for. Then those incidents can definitely happen.
Previnas into the pit lane, servicing that car here. So maybe Previnas has had some issues here. This could be on Russ Ruddock. Has he caused some issues? Previnas doesn't look like there's much damage. So if there is no further action, that's what I like to hear. Stewards have been ever so brilliant this season. The Stewards, of course, sponsored by Performer Elite Texas Graphics, and they are they do so much hard work behind the scenes. We must thank them, of course, before the conclusion of the season. But now, towards the end of this race, I'm going to look at Mike Dam's lap time, 2:11.5. He goes purple again. 2 of his best laps in this race set by Mike Dam. And he's quicker than our leaders by 1.4 seconds. Mike Dam has some insane pace.
Mike Dam. This is what champions are made of right here. This is what defines a champion from someone who's just going to sit in the back. And Mike Dam, he's doing this. He's doing what he needs to do to win this championship.
Brilliant stuff by Mike Dam. Is Mitchell Peak on screen here in a sandwich between a couple of D2D esports cars. So, Tyler, this season's been thrilling. Do you remember it felt like only yesterday we were at Laguna Seca calling the first round?
So I certainly do, but here just quickly, there is a car 29, unsafe re-entry drive-through penalty. So back to what you were saying, though, it really does feel like just yesterday we were calling the start of this season at Laguna Seca as well. The Ricmotech GT Challenge Series ends out here in just a few weeks' time, or actually just next week, sorry. I'm not quite sure what that actually ends out, but I do have a graphic for you to check that out. We end off at Road America.
Well, this will be the last race for the Sports Car Series for 2020. Last time I call an event for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series for the season as well. Did I say for 2020? I meant 2019. Final event for 2019. We move on to 2020 next year. Everybody knows what I mean. You've got common sense. You'll be all right. And Alan here edges ahead of Alessandrini. So I remember at Laguna Seca, I mean, Alessandrini, Schwenke, all these guys, they're a lot quicker than we expected. I would like to see, and I hope to see them reinvigorated heading into next season in the new time model. I really hope we bring the MX-5 back. I don't care if it's a one-make series, as long as we keep the MX-5.
I would personally agree with you, and I really do think that the MX-5 is going to make a return. After the racing that we saw this season, I don't see why the organizers wouldn't want to bring it back. But now something that I would like to see it, bringing in TCR in replacement of the Mustang, the ever-loved Mustang, and I certainly do love the Mustang. I don't want to get that confused, but I would love to see the TCR car make its debut in the Sports Car Series, because I think it'd be wonderful to see who wants to go over there and try their hand at a brand new car, and how it would stack up to these MX-5s as far as race pace go, because they're on the same tire model, and they really are cars that race together in the real world, and it would be nice to see them come together on the sim.
How does this sound to you? I'm going to pitch a series to you. Extreme Motorsports Crazy Series is what it's going to be called. Sponsored by Performer Elite Texas Graphics. And we're going to have the McLaren MP430, 30 cars, as we see some bump drafting going on between Alessandrini and John Allen. So we'll have the McLaren MP430, about 30 drivers there. Then we run the Dallara Formula 3, another 30 drivers. Then the Skip Barber, another 30 drivers. And every race is at a short track, and every second race is at Bristol Motor Speedway. Does that sound nice?
Oh, now that just sounds like the dream series to commentate if you want absolute carnage and destruction, to be fully honest. Now what would be also nice is if we had the new damage model on every single one of those cars.
Oh.
Now you put that together, and I think that we could actually possibly get Extreme Motorsports to put that together, because that would be wonderful. I don't know if any viewer who wouldn't want to see the craziness that would entail from that.
Could you fit 90 cars at Bristol?
I think that you'd have to share a few pit stalls, but yes, you could probably fit 90 cars at Bristol if you put them all 3 wide.
Wow. Make it a 2-hour race. Why not?
Oh, yeah, why not?
I know. I reckon that'd be fun.
I do,
lap
too.
cars and stuff like that. Just maneuver your way around traffic. And how about this? For every incident point you get, it's a 1-month ban on iRacing. So everybody has to be extra careful.
Oh, now that would be god-awful for me. I would never be able to survive that. I don't know if anyone would be able to survive that. I'd be banned from iRacing for life.
Oh, then don't race. So that's the point. You have to attract all the clean drivers, and if you end the race with, let's say, 2 incident points, that's 2-month ban. And you can't race for 2 months. And we hold 1 race every month. It's a 12-race championship. It's begin January 2020. I'm starting this right now. You know, Kevin Ford, if you're listening, the Extreme, what did I call it? The Extreme Motorsports Crazy Series? Probably could have come up with a better name. In all seriousness, Jacobs enters the pit lane now for our GS class for the final time this race. Russ Ruddock, after being involved in that incident, now apologies Russ Ruddock, it was obviously not his fault, we didn't see the incident, but with Patrick Prevenas, but Russ Ruddock, I think, lost a couple of positions after that, but this is the second GS driver, along with Michael Hilliard, is Jeff Jacobs to enter the pit lane. Now here is the incident actually, Tyler. I was just speaking about it. This is Prevenas's unsafe re-entry. Okay, so he's made a mistake, and I can already see what's going on. Has he rejoined the track at turn 6? No, he smartly Oh, goodness. I mean, that's all on Previnas, isn't it?
Yeah, that's certain. I mean, there was absolutely nothing that he could do, that really Jacobs could do that. Or sorry, I believe who was that? Russ Ruddock could do there. And actually, Russ Ruddock is into the pit lane and is going to take his final service of the day. But yeah, there was really nothing he could have done about that. That was kind of an unfortunate incident, really. You've really got to be a little bit more careful there. But look at this. Aeronom is caught up to Clint Vigas. We got a battle for the race lead.
Here we go. It's on. Heading into the bus stop. Aeronom remains behind for the moment. He's going to want the run all the way down to turn 1. Brilliant run out of the bus stop. Let's have a look to see if Aeronom can reel in the Mech Motorsports driver who's led most of this race. His teammate out early on after a spin for Tyler Shiflett at turn 1 in the opening laps. It's all down to Vigas here to battle on his own. We'll see if the European can lead this race for the first time and make this 9 wins out of 9. We're under half an hour remaining.
And Clint Vigas is going to dive into the pit lane, so Aeronom will be able to take over that race lead, and I wouldn't be surprised if he stretches that out tremendously here in these next few laps. But look at the battle. It's the top 3 are going at it here in Euro MX-5s. Let's kind of keep an eye here on, I'm going to just quickly grab our graphic of the lap time delta here between your current race leader, Robert Hartley, but don't expect that to stay for very long as they all enter this turn 3 and 4 banking. And we'll also check on his closest championship rival, the number 93 of Mike Dam.
I think Mike Dam's going to win this race. Look at that gap right now. That's insane.
He's caught up 2 seconds on this one lap. Sorry to interrupt you there, Johnny.
And Hartley pits. Hartley enters the pit lane. Now, here's the critical thing. Hartley's going to be 30 seconds behind Mike Dam at best. So Hartley, unless he can reel in, he has to reel in a second a minute here to Mike Dam. That's the problem. Mike Dam, I thought he's not diving into the box, is he? He is. Mike Dam's entering the box, so that explains his strategy. It's a 3-stop.
Wow, that would explain it here for Mike Dam. Now, does he just go for a splash and dash, or does he take tires? I want to see this here, because if he has to take tires, he's lost his championship.
He's got to go splash and dash. Can't go. He goes right side tires. I think he'll get away with that with the fuel. He'll get away with that with fuel, but let's see whether or not he edges ahead here of Hartley. It will be a quick stop for Dam. Hartley's ahead here for the championship. Mike Dam still in his box.
So this is crucial. Wow.
And you know what? I don't blame him, Mike Dam. I mean, he threw something out of nowhere, and he pulled that out of the trick book. And I tell you what, for Mike Dam, he could still win this championship or win this race, but right now the championship's going to go to Robert Hartley.
Actually, no, Johnny. The championship will still go to Mike Dam.
Yes. Excuse me. So, it's so complicated, isn't it, Tyler? It's just too much to calculate. But Hartley will win this race. Aeronom's into the pit lane for the final time.
Aeronom into the pit lane. And yeah, like you said, it's very difficult to calculate. You pretty much need a math degree to try and figure out the championship points here. And the guys that do understand it, I have incredible respect for them, because I hardly even understand it. But all I know is that at this point, Mike Dam would still become the champion, but he cannot lose a single position. If he loses one position, he's lost his championship.
So we'll wait till after the event to calculate this, because it is very complicated with the points. Of course, Hartley does come into this race with a 1-point lead, so depending on where they finish, it'll affect the championship. We'll get that calculated ASAP for you, but here are some pit stops for Alan, Schwenke, Alessandrini involved as well. How about Vigas, Steve Daniel, Derek Holland also in the box, Bobby Charles, Mitchell Peak, they're all entering the box.
Everyone enters the box here on this lap. So we'll just have to wait and see how everyone files out of the pit lane. And then here's the other question. Where does Robert Hartley and Mike Dam file out?
Hartley has, how much time does he have to Mike Dam here? 6 seconds. Mike Dam not even in the shot at the moment. That's how far back Mike Dam is. Still not in the shot. So Mike Dam as we watch Robert Hartley here. Mike Dam's not even close for this championship lead, but where will Robert Hartley feed out in relation to the rest of his competitors? Alan Schwenke, Alessandrini are all out of the pit lane. Hartley now is going to end up behind them. Wow, critical for Robert Hartley. He's ahead of at least John Allen that I see. John Allen takes the lead.
So John Allen able to take the lead here. And I believe, yeah, John Allen's done on pit stop. So John Allen currently leads. Mike Dam has come out down in 5th. This is called, if he finishes like this, the championship goes to Hartley.
Certainly will. So I'm having a look. So, okay, can we do this live just so we don't get this wrong? Hartley leads by a point heading into this round. He'll get a bonus point for leading a lap. He'll be maxed out on 12, isn't it? You can max out on 12 for the season. For second place, Hartley will gain 32 points. Mike Dam for 5th will gain 26. So the way I see it, Hartley's winning this race by far. Even if Mike Dam finishes in 3rd, it's not enough. I think Mike Dam, and the way I see it is, if Mike Dam finishes 3rd, he'll have 30 points compared to Hartley's 32. So how is Mike Dam going to win that championship? I don't understand. So it has to go to Hartley, no matter what happens. So Mike Dam needs to finish ahead.
So Mike Dam, the way that he wins the championship, Hartley is maxed out on bonus points. He cannot earn any more bonus points here in Daytona. Yeah. Mike Dam can earn more bonus points. So he can earn those 2 bonus points that he got today, 1 for leading a lap and 1 for being
he can't. He can't because he's not going to gain the most spots, obviously, and
but he can get the least. He can get the least incident points though. So as long as he keeps it under 6 incident points, then he can get those 2 bonus points. To then, as if he finishes in 3rd, 2 bonus points would put him even on points with Robert Hartley in 2nd, and he wins the tiebreaker because he's won more races.
So then, if you're Robert Hartley, do you just take tactical off tracks? So long as you don't get like a championship penalty, points or whatever like that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can be something to think about. So this is how everything's stacked up here. In 7 starts of the season, Dam has won 4 races and has had 2 podium finishes. Hartley has had 3 wins and 4 podium finishes. So right now, if neither of them win the race and then they tie on points, the championship will go to Mike Dam because he has more race points. But if they tie on points and Hartley wins the race, which is impossible, then Hartley would win the championship.
All right, you know what? My head's spinning. Let's watch Bobby Charles, who's had some incidents. And Bobby Charles, oh, man. Well, the race was one to remember here in the opening stages. Well, let's see what's happening to him into the International Horseshoe. Oh, he's got a tap from behind from Mitchell Peak. And that would certainly be investigated by our race stewards.
Yeah, that would certainly be under review, I would assume here. But the battle for the top 3 is on. You know that Robert Hartley isn't going to just sit in line and win a championship. That's not the way Robert Hartley wins a championship. He's going to go for this final race win. He wants to solidify it.
And there is the incident under review. That's why I never like bonus points or even qualifying points or anything like that in the championship. We had it in Rallycross this year. The championship could have been wrapped up in qualifying, and it's just not good for the show. But when you just eliminate bonus points, you eliminate drop rounds, it just makes the championship so much more exciting, and we've seen that in Formula One. It just makes it so much more better, Well, when when the cars are close to competing and the championship's not wrapped up with 4 races to go. It's John Allen who leads so far. Hartley in 2nd, Schwenke 3rd. So your top 3 now are searching for a win in this race. Remember, John Allen has not won a race this season. Travis Schwenke has not won a race this season. Hartley is looking for a championship. This is going to go down to the wire with just over 20 minutes remaining. Who do you put your money on so far? I have to say, Allen and Schwenke have the best rubber out of these 3. Hartley's on the back foot.
Personally, for me, Travis Schwenke wins this race. He is in the prime position right now. If he can stick with this group here, he's in the prime position to win. So at this point, I would put my money on Travis Schwenke. Or you want to hear something else? I actually would put my money as well on DJ Alessandrini, because I know the way that these guys are going to battle. I know that just the way Daytona works, this promotes battling, and that's going to inevitably bring DJ Alessandrini into this battle. So I wouldn't count him out either for getting a race win.
Yeah, now back to your GS class. Aeronom officially leads, of course, ahead of Jeff Jacobs. What's happened to Clint Vigas after the pit phase? Vigas has had some issues. Aeronom will lead his first laps. And what a brilliant race it's been so far for our one of two European drivers out here in the field, the man from Estonia, Aeronom. He started from last, and he looks like he's going to take win 9 from 9 here today, Tyler, with 20 minutes remaining. But I tell you what, Vigas, I mean, this race out of nowhere is just taking a turn for the worse for him. We're going to find out what happened to him.
Yeah, we certainly do there. That's unfortunate for Clint Vigas. I mean, he went from leading the race now down in 4th place, and I can't find anything that's happened to him either. So that's a very unfortunate result and an unfortunate ending to what looked to be such a promising day for Meth Motorsports, but ended up turning out to be one of the worst of the season. But yeah, like you said, Aeronom pretty much just has to finish at this point, and he will go 9 for 9 in a clean sweep of the championship. And that's impressive.
Yeah, very impressive by the Estonian. Mike Dam back on screen now, looking for a championship. He's 5th so far. He's got to dispose of Alessandrini. The good news for Mike Dam at the moment, Tyler, is he's been the quickest driver this race for sure. And he's played this strategy not to perfection yet. We'll wait till the end of the race, but even this time round, he's got a bit of a toe, you could say, from Alessandrini, but 2-minute 10.9 is the quickest driver in our ST class by a wide, long margin. 3/10 is the next closest driver to Mike Dam. Insane right now, he's that quick.
Yeah, it really, really is here. And I mean, that would have, yes, been aided by having a bit of slipstream from Alessandrini ahead. But that still wouldn't cause that big of a difference, I don't think. Maybe a second, maybe half a second to a second. Because now while the draft will be felt from a shorter distance in these newer cars with the more horsepower, they will feel a quite heavy difference once they're within that draft range. They just won't be able to get it from as far anymore. But they actually should receive about the same or more draft that the old cars did.
Did you see how close John Allen got to the wall there?
I wasn't honestly so sure that John Allen didn't give the wall a little love tap.
Ooh, a tap. A bit of a kiss with the barrier, brush with the barrier. John Allen here. Looks like he could lose this lead to the American of Hartley. Robert Hartley searching for the lead here with under 18 minutes remaining in our final endurance race for the season. Hartley remains behind. He's going to want to pick him off here on the main straight. No point about fuel saving, I don't think, in the closing stages. He's run very wide there. Is that an off track?
Yeah, so he certainly has had an off track then for John Allen. He's going to benefit from slipstream, which is not going to make Robert Hartley's life any easier. He's actually going to lose time because of how close John Allen is to that lap car. But Hartley's going to get a slingshot down this front straightaway here if he can close up. He's going to get it on the lap car, then pull out and get it on John Allen. He is going to slingshot past Allen, I think.
And introduce Travis Schwenke into the battle. There's a lap car out of the way. That red MX-5 not in this bunch. Here is the scrap between Mike Dam and DJ Alessandrini. Hey, tell you what, Mike Dam into 4th.
So Mike Dam is in the 4th, but it's still not enough to take the championship for him. He needs to get up into 3rd. If he doesn't, then Mike Dam doesn't win this one. This is crucial for Mike Dam. He's got just under 17 minutes left to go to close up a 4.5 second gap.
So it'll all be unofficial at the end of this race, but we believe Mike Dam, with 3rd position, could potentially take the championship here ahead of Robert Hartley. Now, as we said, it's all unofficial for the moment, so we don't want to call it at the line, but Mike Dam has 4.4 seconds to make up before we even consider that a possibility. And do you think he can do it?
I personally don't. The front three are drafting. Mike Dam doesn't have a draft, and he's pretty much matching them on pace. I really, unless they start battling, which is not out of the question for these front three, but if they don't start battling hard here in the infield and really slowing each other up, there is not a way that Mike Dam could close up that gap.
I don't think Schwenke's going to make his way past Hartley. I think he knows that his teammate is in for the championship. Alessandrini and Dam playing the relay game like it's road cycling for the moment. Alessandrini back ahead of Mike Dam. And Mike Dam will demote himself back into 5th. Strategically, it's not the end of the day for Mike Dam. And you'll get a nice tow here across this stretch. So they're playing it perfectly. But the top 3 right now, I think Hartley's probably thinking, if I sit behind Allen, and if I don't battle with John Allen, if I just hand him his first race win of the season, I'll be okay to win this championship, because the more we fight, the more time we're going to lose. And that's going to help Mike Dam's pursuit to gaining that 4.2 seconds on that lead pack.
And I think that these guys are playing this draft game to perfection. You can see Alessandrini knows what he's doing. These guys are fighting not like trying to slow each other down, but they're doing this to gain the draft and get a clear air through the corners. And you can actually see that's causing the gap to come down slightly.
Yeah, interesting. Here is Allen. So what would you do in this race, Tyler, if you're Robert Hartley? Sit behind?
Oh, man, I don't know. Personally, for me, I'm one of those people where I just want to go for it, even if it does mean possibly having some major repercussions. But I want to go for every race win that I possibly can. But thinking of it as a side, I've been in this position before where it would be nice to gain another position just in case you have any sort of, your competitor has any sort of somehow gains another position due to post-race penalties or whatnot. But it's also one of those things, you just kind of got to sit back at this point and just let it play out. Sit down in second place. If you have a clear shot at getting a race victory or moving up another spot, then do it. But if you don't have to, then it's best just to sit in line.
It's going to be close. Don't think Hartley's going to make a move this time out. And you're a champion in MX-5s in the real world, Tyler. It's a brilliant feeling, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is, and it's one of the most rewarding things I felt. To be able to do an entire season's worth of racing and come out with a championship is just something else. And one of these drivers, either Mike Dam or Robert Hartley, will feel that same thing today. They will become a champion again in the MX-5. I believe both of them have a championship under their belts at some point in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Hartley hasn't had the best of seasons last season in the Mustang. He's come back to the MX-5. So is Mike Dam, and they've both taken on this as a brand new challenge for this season, and they've entered a very competitive field, and they have absolutely dominated it. But right now, it's all about John Allen here, who leads this race in the final 13 minutes. And whether Robert Hartley will try and move himself up, or maybe Travis Schwenke even gets greedy and goes for it.
I don't think he will. I know what you're saying, but I think Schwenke knows his teammate's in better position for the championship, obviously. He needs it. And this could go down to the final lap. If I'm Robert Hartley, I make this move. Now, do you even make it on the final run down to the finish line? We've seen a lot of drag races to the line here in this series and in many races at Daytona. Do you do that if you're Robert Hartley?
Personally, for me, I would try it because that's the safest move that you're going to make. John Allen's not going to make any sudden movements at that point like he may in a corner. So I think that is probably the safest option for him if he does want to go for it.
So here we go. 10 minutes remaining in this race, just over. Update on your GS class. It's Aeronom who leads. And you'll take his 9th win of the season, surely, with over 10 minutes to go. Issues for Clint Vigas. Still haven't heard word on what happened to Clint Vigas, but there was issues for him during the second pit stop phase for sure. His pit time was around the same margin as Aeronom, so it certainly doesn't look like any damage to the rear end. Or I haven't seen the right side yet of Vigas. Let me look at the right side. Right side looks clean, so it could have just been a spin for Clint Vigas, which has put him down over 30 seconds here on Aero Nom, our leader. Jeff Jacobs, Cameron Martineau could take some podiums they won't forget for sure. Be season best results for those two. Steve Daniel rounds out the top 5, and then we look at your top 5 for your ST class. As we said, and we've been discussing for the past 90 minutes, it's Allen who leads ahead of Hartley from Schwenke. This is your top 3 battle on screen, and at the back end of the shot, you saw Alessandrini and Dam. And Hartley's going for it now. He's going for the lead earlier on. Hartley into P1 with 10 minutes to go.
Robert Hartley takes over the lead, and here's another one. Will Mike Dam try and go by Alessandrini? This time he doesn't. And I have word on what happened to Clint Vigas. So Clint Vigas entered the pit lane again for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but he entered the pit lane again, and that is why he's down the order.
Well, he's got 17 incident points, does Clint Vigas, so that could have been a drive-through penalty. Now, unless we've missed it in our stewarding sheet. I haven't seen anything by the stewards, so that could have been, again, the new thing introduced by iRacing, where they give you the drive-through penalties, possibly, Tyler.
That certainly could be, but the league has to set the incident point there, so I wouldn't expect the league to set it lower than what their own rule book says. That's just interesting to me. I really don't know why they would have, or why he would have come in early.
Yeah, 20x limit for a 90-minute race, exactly. So sometimes it can be speeding on exit, Tyler, because if you speed on entry, you can serve your penalty, can't you, in the same pit phase. But if you speed on exit for Vigas, maybe he's had to lap around again and then serve the drive-through.
That certainly could have happened. I mean, that is not out of the question whatsoever. So now why he did it, it's definitely still up in the air and interesting. I'd like to speak with him after the race and just kind of see why. But this is the battle that we got to focus on here in the final 9 minutes of the season and the final 9 minutes of this race. It is currently John Allen who leads. Travis Schwenke's moved up into second. And then look at who's in third, Robert Hartley. So I don't think that there's any team orders being played between the two.
Certainly not. Hartley now demoted to third. Remember, still a lot of time remaining in this race, but Hartley right now, the way I see it, if I look at the championship, Hartley will still have 4 points ahead of Dam. Hartley will still take the championship. The way I see it, Tyler, is the way I'm calculating it right now is Hartley's in third, Dam is in fifth. Hartley's going to win the championship. I don't know. I can't see some of the notes that we're reading, how the math works right now. Hartley's going to have 4 more points plus the one he already leads by. Mike Dam can't gain 5 bonus points, so Hartley's going to win the championship at this stage in third.
Yes, and if Mike Dam moves up 1 place into fourth, then he claims the championship because him and Robert Hartley would tie. Now that is expecting that Mike Dam has less than 6 incident points, which right now I don't think he has.
Well, he's got, how many is he listed as? He's got 4. But that's unofficial. Unofficially, he has 4. That's our own live timing sort of GPS data. Yeah, GPS data is as accurate as possible, but you never know. Could always have a margin for error. So what I've gotten from the developer here at Apex is that our system is a bit more actually accurate than the iRacing system is, but the iRacing system also can throw up some weird off tracks that ours doesn't detect. So it's all about how many instant points Mike Dam picks up here. I don't know if you can see it in the sim, Johnny. I don't know if it says for you how many he's at, but I don't think that we'll be able to know without just actually asking him. It says 4 using our Apex data. Is that correct for you as well?
I'm not sure. It all depends on what's actually in the sim. That will matter because our Apex data doesn't really mean anything to the race steward. It's all about what their software says on their side.
Yeah, well, here's some traffic for Hartley to deal with nevertheless. So that's something to look at after this race. Bonus points always make it a little bit more complicated, doesn't it, for the championship? But for the moment, Hartley will still lead. And third place is not enough. You'd expect Schwenke to allow Hartley through for second, wouldn't you, Tyler? So essentially, Hartley's going to finish second. Mike Dam and Alessandrini not teammates, so Mike Dam has to earn fourth. So even if Mike Dam earns fourth, we're expecting Hartley to finish second at worst in this top 3. And the way I see it, Hartley has got this championship wrapped up. They've got 2.5 seconds, though, don't forget. 4th and 5th now to this train in the top 3. Now, if this traffic, you can see on the track map, if it causes any more issues, you'll see those two in the shot where they just came there through turn 1. You'll see them in this lead battle, possibly on the final lap, going for the championship.
So, but right here, though, look at this. This is crucial. Mike Dam, this is out of draft range here for Robert Hartley. He's at 1.3 seconds. He won't benefit from the draft at this range. So this is absolutely crucial. And the gaps come down now to 2 seconds. Robert Hartley, I think, is struggling with the tires on that X-Side iRacing MX-5. He's losing loads of time to his teammate, or his affiliated teammate, I should say, Travis Schwenke.
This is insane right now for Hartley. Got 1.3 seconds to make up. Yeah, he's lost the toe. There's no way you got 1.3 seconds up when you're anywhere near the toe there. You can't even see the other two in shot. I think they might be. Are they alongside each other? No, they're not. John Allen just taking his customary wide line and then dives to the bottom line here at Daytona. A lot of bumps at Daytona. Track was resurfaced a few years ago, get rid of some of those bumps. Over the years, though, Tyler, sometimes those bumps, I remember at Daytona, will move from the low line to the high line. It's just ever so fascinating.
Yeah, they can really move depending on multiple factors, obviously with the racetrack and the way everything works, but also just how everybody goes about using the track over the course of the year, whether people run kind of more on the high line, where everything is on the racetrack. It really is a fascinating thing to see on how everything moves around, and it really changes on the high banks. It's one of those things. I mean, I've driven on a NASCAR track before. Actually, I've driven on 2 of them. Only used the high banks, though, on 1. And I can say it is wonderful to drive up on these things, but it can really change over the course of a race weekend.
Oh, man. This championship going down to the wire right now. Mike Dam with a move here on Alessandrini could win this championship. Here they go, heading across the start-finish line. Less than 4 minutes remaining. Aeronom's wrapped up the GS class for the moment. Hartley now, look at the gap, down to 1 second, so he's reeling in the 2 up ahead. Allen looks good for his first win of the season so far. Oh, man, Tyler, I'm nervous now. I'm finally nervous with a few minutes to go.
I am too. This is nail-biting time for these 2 teams. Is it going to be Cryptology Racing Orange, or is it going to be Robert Hartley and X-Side iRacing who become the Season 15 champion? This is a big milestone for the series. It marks the 15th season that this series has been in effect, and I've been commentating on it for the last, I believe this is the 3rd season I've been commentating on, and this has been one of the craziest action season and one of the closest that I've seen so far. And I can say this Ricmotech Sports Car Series is sure to deliver next year, especially if we get a new change of car.
Well, John Allen, our Season 13 champion. Schwenke, our defending champion for Season 14. Will it be Robert Hartley in Season 15 in the 3rd position? Will he be able to reel in these 2 up ahead? Here's Schwenke going for his first win of the season. Allen the same. We ride on board with the Defined Auto Works driver. And you can see Hartley in shot behind in that white MX-5. Schwenke in second. He's going to remain behind for the moment. He's going to do everything he can to support his teammate here, heading into the bus stop. And then at the back end of the shot, you can see the blue MX-5 of Alessandrini leading Mike Dam here across the main straight. Where is Iranom? I want to see where. I think Iranom's through the International Horseshoe. There he is. And Iranom has what? This is the penultimate lap for Iranom. Next time by will be the final lap.
So these guys right now are coming up to 2 laps to go here for your MX-5s. And look who's right back in shot now, Robert Hartley. So this is crucial for the championship. These 2 haven't caught up anything. So unless they have an absolute dogfight, or Robert Hartley finishes in 3rd and Mike Dam finishes 4th, Mike Dam is really put into a corner here with this championship. He has done everything that he can, but just can't get it.
He's going to make a move, though, on Alessandrini. He's working together with him. 2.3 seconds. Don't think it's going to be enough with 2 to go unless these drivers up ahead have any incidents, start slicing and dicing. You never know here. Iranom's still on the back straight. approaching the bus stop. So he'll begin his final lap in about 40 seconds time to predict. What do you think, Tyler, now? Have a look at this. Hartley back into the slipstream.
That's definitely interesting. With Hartley back in the slipstream, I really don't see a way that Mike Dam can win this championship. I think that Robert Hartley right now has got this all wrapped up. I think he's pretty much just got to finish here. As long as he finishes in the top 3 and Mike Dam doesn't finish 4th, he's got it. But you know he's going to be going at least for 2nd place, and I wouldn't be surprised if Schwenke gives it to him, but Schwenke really isn't technically, he is affiliated with the Excite team, but isn't a sole actual teammate of Robert Hartley, so they may not play team orders to each other.
I would. Smartly so. It's not the best thing for the fans. As a fan, I don't want to see it. As a fan, I do not want to see team orders. But as a driver, and I've driven World Championship sim racing before, you do it any day of the week. You do it for your teammate. It's a smart thing to do. And Hartley right now behind. He's driving the wheels off that Mazda MX-5. It's going to be 1 to go here. Aeronom's crossed the line. He's going to begin his final lap of the season. What's been a phenomenal season, a record-breaking season for Aeronom. He'll be undefeated if he'll cross the line in the lead. How about this, though, for the lead here as they begin the final lap for your ST class. The race is on between Alan Schwenke and Robert Hartley. Hartley going for the 2nd position here. This is going to be critical.
This is going to be critical. Does he get to the inside? Mike Dam has moved himself into 4th. This is a must-pass situation here.
And that'll hand the championship to Mike Dam for the moment. So Hartley will have to make a move on Schwenke here and will have to pass him for the 2nd position to take this championship. Now, whether or not Alessandrini remains behind Mike Dam is another question in itself. Now, where is Aeronom? Aeronom is coming towards, I think he's at the bus stop, isn't he? He is. So Aeronom's got about 20 more seconds to go before he'll take the checkered flag. But my goodness me. Don't know who's going to win this championship in the closing stages. Hartley has to make a move on Schwenke. Aeronom towards the final few corners right now will take the win. And it's been a record-breaking season for the Estonian. He clean sweeps season 15. 9 wins from 9. He's our champion confirmed at Imola. And he's our champion confirmed with 9 wins from 9. But who's going to be the champion for our ST class?
This is all still to play for here. If Mike Dam has less than 6 incident points, if they finish as they are, then Mike Dam is crowned the champion. We are not going to know until they cross the line. Does Alessandrini go by Mike Dam? They're going to head in towards the bus stop now. And this is surely going to be a battle to the line here. It's all about who can get there in time. Cameron Martineau crosses the line. He'll win the championship in your GS Open standings. But the battle is right here. It is between John Allen, Travis Schwenke, Robert Hartley, and then whether Mike Dam. Oh, what's happened to John Allen? He's going to lose a spot.
So this looks like Travis Schwenke's first win for the season, possibly. Will Hartley sweep his way past for the championship? Critical for Robert Hartley here as they head towards the start-finish line. It's a drag race for the title, a drag race for the win. Robert Hartley at the end of the day, they cross the line. Oh, Hartley's in 3rd. Hartley's confirmed in 3rd, and that's going to hand the championship to Mike Dam. Unofficially for the moment, but the Canadian Mike Dam could win this championship and could be crowned champion when it's all calculated based upon a drag race 3 wide for our win for the final race of the season. But it's John Allen confirmed winner for the first time for season 15. Oh, what a finish.
What a finish there for John Allen and the Define Auto Works car there. But I am hesitant. I didn't put up the season 15 the champion graphic because we don't know whether Mike Dam, the Canadian, had less than 6 incident points. I don't know if that's something that we can figure out here with a quickness. I'm going to see here just quickly. We're going to switch over to one of our, just a little bit of a waiting screen here. So give me just 1 second. I want to check in my sim to see if I can see incident points. I cannot see whether drivers, what sort of incident points they are sitting at. So we'll have to wait and see here and see whether Mike Dam comes to the interview room, because if he doesn't, I think that pretty much confirms that he was the champion. Race results up on your screen.
Oh, let's take a breath. I don't even want to read these results. We need a breath. Hero Nom will win. As we said, confirmed a clean sweep for the season for the Team Bushwink driver. And the Estonian wins by 28 seconds after Clint Vigas's what could have been a pit speeding penalty on the exit. We don't know. That was a prediction, but he ends up in fourth, Vigas. For Jeff Jacobs and Martineau, 2 podiums to remember, and Martineau wins our open standings and wins the championship. Brilliant season for the Martineau racing driver. And Steve Daniel rounds out the top 5. You can see the rest of the order on screen. We had 10 drivers finishing in your Mustang class for the moment. A couple of drivers down the back end of the order with issues. And we move over to our winner for your ST class. That was John Allen with a drag race to the line. Officially the gap there at the end of the day for John Allen, it was
3/100ths of a second.
3/100. Thank you, Tyler. I had it up for a second, but it was 3/100ths of a second between John Allen and Travis Schwenke in second. That's insane, because had Robert Hartley finished maybe 100th of a second up in front ahead of Schwenke, that could have been the championship confirmed, but we'll have to calculate this and see. And it all depends on bonus points now for those guys. So Robert Hartley potentially champion, but unlikely. That could go to Mike Dam, who took home a valiant 4th position ahead of Alessandrini. Then we see Eric Violet on screen, the first of 2 D2D esports driver ahead of Bobby Childs. Brilliant event from Bobby Childs. He finished that high up with what seemed like a multitude of errors towards the end of the race, and brilliant performance from Bobby Child nevertheless, regardless of those errors. How high could he finished up had he not had those late race issues? Mitchell Peak had a brilliant race throughout the entirety of Daytona, finished ahead of Lyndon McMurphy. Then you see the rest of the order down the rear end of the field there. There's Schiffler and Bader with some DNFs. There were 2 Mustangs who didn't finish this race. For Jacob Beasley as well, he unfortunately was out of the race along with Mike Taylor. And that was our 32 car field there wrapped up for the championship. But wow, we've got a... I don't know where to start. Let's speak to Hero Nom for post-race interviews, right, Tyler? We'll get this out of the way, because we still got to figure out who's won our ST championship. But here is the Estonian, and Hero Nom clean sweeps the season. We know you won the championship last time, Hero, but congratulations. That's a record-breaking season for you, and a brilliant way to cap it off with a bit of fun starting from the last position.
Yeah. In the beginning, that was the plan all week, to start in the back. So I was thinking doing the quali lap in the last place. So that worked out well. And the first laps I was taking easy, like I said. But with the bit stop help with Vigas, I think he had some issues. So it was at the end, it was really easy.
Do you know what happened to Clint Vigas? We guessed that it could have been a pit speeding penalty, but he entered the pit lane for the 3rd time. Did you hear any word on that? Yeah,
it's a little bit weird, because it's I think it's impossible to get speeding out from the pits if you're in the first stall. So I don't know. I was thinking maybe he didn't take enough fuel in the first stop. But
that could have possibly been the case. But for you now, you move on to next season. Is this it for you in sim racing for 2019? Are you going to be taking a break from league racing? Are you going to be out in some official series? Are you going to just not touch the wheel for a couple of weeks? What's the off-season going to look like for you?
Well, we have still the GT race next week.
The GT next week.
Yeah. So I will, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm champion in that too already, so I have to see next week. But that will be it.
You start from last again, possibly. Have a bit of fun with it.
I know. I think it's too dangerous back there.
Finally, who gets it done for you? Of course, Team Bushwink to thank, and a whole lot of more.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the sponsors and league admins. I hope Kevin is back next season. I hope he gets well. I'd like to thank all the drivers in the league. Today again, very, very good race. And I'd like to thank you guys in the boat.
So there is Aeronom. We'll leave you to it, mate. Good to hear from you again. Good luck in GT next week, and that he becomes our season 15 champion again. Well, officially now. The season's ended. And he is also going to clean sweep the season, a record-breaking season for Aeronom after taking that championship at Imola. But we'll leave him to it, and we'll bring in John Allen. And John Allen, who took victory today, your first of the season, John Allen. Welcome. We got you, mate.
Yeah, better late than never. Sorry, I'm sopping off with a towel. That was quite a race.
You do know as well behind you, the championship was on the line for Robert Hartley. It's all unofficial for the moment, but we believe that because he didn't finish in second, that could be the championship over for him. I don't think you were worrying about that, were you? You were probably eyes all focused on taking victory.
Yeah, I was well aware that I didn't have a victory yet this season. I probably haven't missed a victory in any season since I joined, and I always seem to do best at the two-stop strategy. But tonight, with the new build and the tire model and all the things going on, I think until the very last second, a lot of people didn't realize there was a risk, depending on how you drove, that you would be stuck three-stopping. This faster car, the ND2, is much thirstier than the ND1. And so, you saw a lot of people, you guys may have caught it during the broadcast, lifting way early into some of the turns like one. And there was a lot of gamesmanship early on and who could save fuel until they knew they could go full out. And that's certainly what I was doing. And I know I wasn't alone.
There was that one stage of the race, I'm not sure if it was a slowdown. It could have been you, but I know what happened to Hartley, a few other drivers, but nobody wanted to lead the race at one stage. And it got to a bottleneck at turn one. I think we had 10 drivers separated by 3.5 seconds in the early laps.
Yeah. In the earliest part of the first half of the first stint, that makes sense because you couldn't really do the math yet. No one knows what the draft is worth that extended with that many cars involved yet. This was the test bed for it. So, I wasn't too torn up about my poor qualifying. I just missed getting my flying lap in. I was, probably 100 feet from the line when they called qualifying to start a flyer. And, but I just, took advantage. That forced my hand to use the draft strategy, save everything I could. And then I went a little bit risky short on the last stop to try and get out ahead of everybody, just to thin the herd up front. And that left us with 3. And still, you don't want to be in front, but I thought maybe the redraft would work. And I just didn't know if Robert could slingshot clear from back there. It was quite a finish.
And let's explore the new tire model quickly because, how long's it been now? Just under 12 hours even for you guys to experience it all. It was something that was all into the unknown. I was surprised with Mike Dam's 3-stop strategy. I'm not sure if you caught on to that.
Oh, definitely. I was behind him when he went in, and some of us were discussing it before the race about what it would actually take to ensure a 2-stop strategy, and if that much lift meant the other option was just ignoring it and committing to 3-stop right from jump. And seeing where the chips fell. And you saw, we were doing the math as best we could, and we said, you know what, pick one or the other. It's going to be pretty similar, but he was the one with the guts to try it. And, you saw how close it was at the end. So pretty impressive.
And the tire model seems good to you, or do you need a little bit more getting used to? You won your first victory of the season today. I'm sure you're pretty used to it so far.
Yeah, there's been some good knowledge sharing and feedback across this league and some other folks that have been running test sessions. I think the general consensus is everyone's happier with it. They fixed some of how greasy it was for the first lap or two early in the week, and the final version of the build makes it very realistic. It's slick early, but not for long, comes up to temp. Tyler could probably speak to this too. Also more realistically, towards the end of a run, and we're only running 5-gallon max fuel in this series, but by the time you're pushing 5 gallons, the tires are also falling off very quickly lap by lap in the last 3 laps. So I think they nailed it.
And finally, we'll let you go, mate. But you're our only interview for the day, apart from Miro and Om, or at least our ST class. So we thought we'd milk it as much as we can. But finally, who gets it done for you for that Defined AutoWorks machine? And hopefully, you can repeat as champion. Well, not from season 14, obviously, from season 13, but maybe going to season 16, you can win that championship in 2020 to begin the year.
Yeah. I think the new tire model kind of resets the bar, and everyone's starting from fresh to a point. That's always fun. But yeah, as far as the series as a whole, just another absolute blast. Thank you guys so much for what you do for us. All the competition, the gentlemen racers that we have, you see, the etiquette that's out there. If and when something does happen, guys apologize. They know when they're in the wrong, and it wouldn't be near as fun if the guys didn't have others' best interest in mind. So no Kevin tonight, but huge thanks to him, of course, and Jeff and Bobby Childs and on down. TD we haven't seen in a while. All of the sponsors. Rick on down from the Extreme Group, Frank at Ricmotech. It's become quite a team, quite a group effort, and everybody plays their part. We love it.
So there is John Allen. Thanks again, mate. Hopefully see you again in 2020 for the Sports Car Series, and he'll be back ready to go. But Tyler, you finally have, can we call it an official announcement on the champion?
I do have an official announcement. This is from the race steward here at the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. It is officially for 2019. Robert Hartley takes the championship here in season 15. What a championship it has been for him, and he will be your season 15 champion. And that is a wonderful result for that Excite Racing group. He made the switch to the MX-5 and wins it in his first year out. What a season it has been, and what a way to cap off 2019 for him.
That's insane. To be honest with you, how's that work then? Has Mike Dam not capitalized on the off-track bonus points?
I'm not exactly sure. I only was told that Robert Hartley is the champion, and I pretty much quickly jumped out of there, knowing my news that I needed. But I'm not quite sure. I'm sure it'd be nice to get a little bit of an explanation, and maybe even a little bit of even an explanation from the drivers if anyone wants to jump in again. But that was certainly the finale that we wanted here for season 15. Congratulations to all the champions that we saw. Aeronom, a commanding performance, and again, Robert Hartley, champion in your ST Pro field. Those are your two pro champions. I'm not quite sure on the Open champions because Jacob Beasley because Elvis Rankin did not show up tonight, but that has certainly been a good one. And I would have to say this final race at Daytona may be the best I've commentated on in the history of me commentating this sports car series.
Yeah, it's been an insane one for sure. And final comments for the season, Tyler. It's not only been an exciting final race, but an exciting season to cap off 2019. But we also have the GTs next week.
Yeah, we cap off the GT season with the 90-minute finale at Road America. So make sure to catch us at the same time for that one to see your GTLM and GTD champions get crowned. So we have two championship weekends back to back, and we're in America for both of them. I think that we got like two of the most American tracks to cap off these seasons. We go to Daytona, which is the capital of American racing, and we also head to Road America, which has America right in the name.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. So, brilliant way to cap off the season there. And there are a lot of people to thank here for the sports car series. And I don't want to leave out any names, but most notably, we want to thank, of course, the entire Extreme Motorsports crew and the Ricmotech Sports Car Series crew as well, from Kevin Ford, Bobby Childs, our race stewards, to our entire team at Apex Racing TV, of course, as well as Tyler Maxson on production. We had, of course, Marco Barbonera helping us throughout the year, which was awesome. And he did fill in for the round at Imola. Thanks, of course, to Alex Simpson, Lee Thompson behind the scenes for Apex Racing TV. Visit the Extreme Motorsports website for more information on the series and some more information coming up for 2020. And, of course, the Apex Racing TV website for more information. And you can get involved in sim racing broadcasting. Don't forget iRacing.com for more information. And you can sign up and join in on all the action you saw out there today. But for us from the commentary booth, we say so long. We'll finally give a thank you, to all you fans out there for being thrilling throughout the year. Enjoyed all the comments. Hope you've enjoyed all the action here, of course, too. But what a season it's been. Our champion confirmed, of course, last round. It was Aeronom in your GS class. And now, confirmed, Robert Hartley for our ST Pro class. Brilliant stuff from Cameron Martineau and Elvis Rankin to win their open class divisions. But for now, though, we'll say so long from Daytona. Happy holidays from us, and we'll see you in 2020 for the Sports Car Series.